I was really mad. So I practically threw him out. I told Mayumi too, I said, you, after school, you are here and you are not going to meet him. Took a suitcase, packed her clothes, put the suitcase in her hand and said, alright, you think you're an adult? You think you can manage on your own? There's the door. Something told me we have to go to Germany because my mother lost her mind more and more. It was really hard. Sure. I was sleeping in her ex-bedroom. I woke up because something was pulling my toe. What is this? You know? And then I got the idea, is that you again? You know, I said, this is weird. This feels spooky. We packed the urn in a package and send it to us in Jamaica. Every package that reaches the island will be opened by customs. I called him. There's an urn in it. And please do not open the urn. Those are really the ashes of my mommy. It's really her, so please don't think that I'm trying to smuggle drugs or do anything. Just respect that.
Hey my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Mel and we are here with mommy. So I already know that it's another story time with mommy. Story time with mommy. So yeah guys, as usual, the cliffhanger that you had the last two videos, I think we're finally giving them what they're looking for.
Huh? Yeah. Let's see how far we reach today.
So yeah, hopefully you get all your questions answered and she won't leave you hanging for much longer. Okay guys, so mommy, go ahead.
Disclaimer: the stories that I'm going to tell in this series are my experience, my truth, and my point of view over the past 38 years that I have been in Jamaica, and it's in no way intended to slander any person, the culture of Jamaica, or the island as a whole. Hi Mel's lovelies, back again. Right now we are still in the year 2001. As I was telling you last story time, I spent with Melody 4 months in Germany to take care of my mommy and try to get her to come over to Jamaica, which miserably failed because her health just did not improve, but basically went down even more. So in about April of that year, we decided that Yosha would come to Germany and I would go back home, because situation in Jamaica was kind of getting rougher and rougher, and as we let you know, Mayumi was not on her best path neither, and I got more and more messages from Jamaica about this new road that was supposed to be built and that would practically swallow my Marina. So we reached back and Yosha went over for a few weeks, because at that time it was pending if my mommy would get a space in a home, because she definitely could not stay alone in her apartment anymore. So once I reached home, I mean, the boys did a fabulous job, I have to say, with the restaurant and keeping it up and the bookkeeping and whatever was necessary. So that was the least of my problems when I came back. But then to see my daughter, who had become a real how to say it, a real rebel teenager, and then I find out, oh, she has a boyfriend now, and I met him, and he was always around basically after school. I mean, I put her back on that right away. I mean, you better go back to school and do what you have to do, and she did.
So she got the boyfriend in the time when you were gone?
Basically.
Not while you were there?
Mm-mm.
As in before you left?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
That was all within the time, you know, because remember she became a woman then too, basically biologically.
Because she said you set rules that he's only allowed to
No,
come.
that came after.
Oh.
Because what happened basically, now these two were clinging together day and night practically, not night, but in the day, and he would come everywhere with us, like we would go out on the weekends to the beach and some places like we do now. And he would always be with us, which I did not mind because at least they were not hiding someplace or you know. And he was a nice guy. I mean, nothing to say against him. But it was like kind of rough because of course I set some rules. You know, it's like because the school was not supposed to suffer. And of course he couldn't spend the night on, I think my daughter was just 15 years old at the time, you know, so that is not and otherwise all I told him is, look, whatever you do, do not lie about it or do not hide, because those were my two rules in my family basically. Do not lie, or the one rule, the main rule. Because I always told my children, no matter what, I mean, say you throw in a window somewhere, right? And I come to you and ask you if you did it. And you did it and you say yes, then we can find a solution. And you might get a little problem, but I mean, we will find a solution. If you say no, and I find out that you did it after all, then you are in big trouble. Because you lied. So basically, I think all my children knew that was almost a crime that they committed if they would lie. I'm not saying they never lied though, but I mean it was like minor things and stuff. But they knew the rule, do not lie. So I remember one situation when I was practically in my bed already. The restaurant was closed, it was kind of late, and my daughter's boyfriend did leave hours ago because he had this set time too. I said, okay, fine, certain time, you go home. You know, and he agreed to, because his parents, they were making sure too that he came home in time, because both of them were very young. So I get a phone call from his mother. Oh, is he still around your place because he didn't come home as yet? And I said, no, because as far as I know, he left like 2-3 hours ago. And something told me to go out and look, and I went into the restaurant kitchen. Mind you, the restaurant was closed at the time, and I would have nothing to do in the kitchen normally, you know. So I went in the restaurant kitchen, and who did I find there? Mayumi and her boyfriend. And what apparently happened is he went officially home and sneaked back in, and Mayumi let him. And they hid in the kitchen because I was the only place where none of us normally would see them. Now I got raving mad. Not about the fact that I found them in the kitchen, but about the fact that they were betraying us by lying, by hiding, by being very, very sneaky, right? Making me believe that he went home and instead he came back and stuff like that. So I was really mad. So I practically threw him out. I said, you better get out of here, and I want to see you for the next few days. I do not want to see your face. And I told Mayumi too, I said, you, after school, you are here and you are not going to meet him. Don't argument. So of course both of them were not happy about that situation, and Mayumi became very fresh about it basically, and she goes, and you can't tell me nothing. You know how teenagers do, you know. That was about the next day or something.
Like she a big woman.
Yeah, like she a big woman, like she's an adult, and then she claimed this and claimed that, and she don't need me and she don't need all the family. And I looked at her and said, you know what? I went into her room, took her suitcase, packed her clothes, toothbrush, everything, put the suitcase in her hand and said, all right, you think you're an adult? You think you can manage on your own? There's the door. Bye-bye. I practically set her out. Now, you have to see, Port Antonio at that time, and Miami was famous in Port Antonio. Everybody knew her there. Everybody. I mean, I was not Sabina, I was Mayumi's mother. And also, I didn't even have a personality on my own anymore. So, doing that, of course, right away, she walked out with her suitcase, you know, and like, I think she figured she could stay with her parents. And, of course, his parents were like, no, we can't do that. You're both underage and we are not going to have you here, you know, and you better go home. But she couldn't come home because mommy sent her out. Now, what I did at the same time, we had a lot of people within the town, and I sent out word right away. I found one and said, look here, do me a favor, tell so and so and so and so to have an eye on Mayumi and make me know where she is at all times, which they did. So I had my spies in the town. Basically, she went to school. I don't even know where she left her suitcase, to be honest. She went to school, came back from school the first day, and then she was not coming in the Marina. She was hanging around somewhere with friends, but I knew at all times where she was. You know, that was a nice part. So I knew she was okay, and then night came, and everybody got ready for bed. When we see, I glimpsed out and I saw somebody right in the front of the yard. There was a big mango tree with a kind of a platform underneath, and who was on that platform? Mayumi was spending the night there. And I said, all right, as long as she is in the yard but doesn't come in, everything fine, you know. So I guess in the middle of the night she probably went back in the bathroom where she where she found shelter, but at that point in time she was under the mango tree. So next morning when I looked, she was gone. Now another night come, same procedure, having people looking out for her, knowing where she is at all time. Same thing happened the second night. And I mean, I did not approach her. I didn't say a word. I just said, you better learn your lesson, girl. You know, because I know where you are. I know that you are okay, but I want you to feel it. So night number 3 came when she snuck back in the house, back in her bed, because she wanted her bed back, I guess. And I ignored that, you know, I completely ignored that. And by the next morning she came out of the room, she got ready for school. We did not have a discussion about that at all. I just accepted that she was back, and she accepted that she was let in back. But to tell you the truth, she eased off after that. I mean, I think she got a good lesson there, you know. Because as of that point, it was much easier with her. Although, but that was even a little bit later. Boy, could that girl be vexed with her brothers. When her brother do something to her, she was like, I'm not talking to you again. And she would literally not talk to them again, you know. She would come to me, can you tell Nikki that? And I said, no. You tell him that yourself, you know, what, don't get me involved in this now. We don't want nothing to do with this. Now at the same time, I tried to get my family back in order. Things accumulated with the Marina part. Now the plans to build a road where my Marina had been drawn and accepted, and the building was supposed to start, or actually did start. That was like by, I think, the summer of 2001 they started. And the road was supposed to go, initially they had a road coming from Negril to Port Antonio, and then this part of the road was also, I'm not sure if that part of the road was also paid by the EU, because the long road from Negril to Port Antonio was paid by the EU. I do not know who financed this one, but I think it was part of it. And the firm that was working on it, the construction people that were doing all the works, came from Denmark. It was a firm from Denmark called Peel, and they are very famous for doing works all in Africa, India, Caribbean, of course, now, and they are very used to deal with different places, different governments, different fundings and stuff. And as our marina was a nice place, a few of their engineers and stuff used to come to the marina all the time, have some food and some drinks, and we would get to talk, seeing that Denmark and we were German, and so, and they told me a lot of stories what was happening throughout the construction time and the problems they had, and I mean, I have to really give it to them. I think they were very, very firm with the money part, because part of the stories they told me how people always try to get money out of them, you know, because they bought a lot of land on the side to widen the road on the side of the road, and people always tried to extort money from them. Not only not the people that they needed the land from, but as soon as it was government land, it became a problem. And they stayed very firm. They just said, look guys, if you want the road, let's get to this agreement. If you don't want it, well, we gone, and you don't get a road. Simple as that. And the money is gone too. So these people now, we kind of became friends, and when it started, now they started on the left side from the land of the marina to dump up the place, which means truckloads and truckloads and truckloads of dirt would come in. I don't even know where they got the dirt, because I don't remember. There was a place where they got it. I think they dug down a whole mountain or something. Anyhow, and they started from there and just dumped it in the sea in order to gain land. And they came closer and closer to my marina. I was still trying to fight, if you want, with the government, because it was a plan of the Port Authority, and those were the people. Remember, I told you they came and asked us how much we would need for a year of survival, because after what we would get a new marina on the other side of the road. As it turned out, when finally everything was written down and I gave them a sum and stuff like that, they came back and said, okay, you will get this sum, but that's it. No new marina. That is not anymore in the plans. We did have it in the plan, but it's not in the plan anymore. So forget about that. And I was like, okay, you are taking away my livelihood. You are taking away my house. You are taking away everything I have in Jamaica, basically. And all you want to give me is, because it was not a big amount of money, that's all you want to give me? And they said, yeah. I mean, you are German. You can go back to Germany. That was their statement. Seriously, I got that statement. You are German. You can go back to Germany. At that point in time, I had been in Jamaica for 18 years. Made my life here, set up my life here, had everything I own here. And all they have to tell me, oh, you can go back to Germany? So that was really, really bitter. So I started to look around for a lawyer. Now, to find a lawyer that is going against government, right?
Good luck.
So I ended up with a well-famous lawyer in Kingston who was known to take up government and who was known in a lot of cases to win. Of course, I had to scrape together the money for him because he wasn't cheap. So we went there with Yasha and me went there together actually, and told him the situation and told him everything, and he was like and he said, boy guys, I can't really do nothing much there. The only thing I can try is to get a little more money out of them. And so said, so done, and he actually got a bit more money out of them for us. And he got what, remember the marina part was on the water, but there was a land part as well. And the land part was rented from my landlord that had a shop right in front by the road, and I paid rent every month. At least I figured that the piece of land that was in front of the marina that I rented from my landlord could be used still after the water part would be gone. And it took a good while for my lawyer to negotiate with them, because it looked like they would try to really get rid of me as cheap as possible, of course. And in the meantime, while the negotiations still went on, the dumping of the road went on and on and on, and then came closer and closer to my marina, and I was supposed to move already. They told me, oh, you have to break down the place and you have to leave, and I refused. I said, no, if I don't get a proper settlement, I'm not going to move. So the people from the construction firm were very understanding. I told them the entire story. I let them know what was going on, and they said, wow, that is bad. And they assured me, they said, you know what we are going to do? Take as long as you want. We are going to dump the road around your marina part, so at least you have the restaurant running still. I wouldn't have no boats coming in anymore, of course, but I would have the restaurant. And they said, we are trying to help you, just take your time, we will wait. And actually that is what happened. I mean, the dirt part came closer and closer and closer. Water was gone more and more and more. They even went behind us on the other side towards the market, and the negotiations still were going on until they finally agreed to pay the rent for the place another year, and they put a little more money on the money they initially offered us. And then the last offer that came was actually from the construction firm. They said, Sabina, when you're ready, we are going to take down everything here for free, because they wanted me to pay for demolishing my own place, you know. So the firm said, no, we are going to take it down for you. We are going to give you all the material. We are putting it on your yard there, and you have no worries about that anymore. And then finally, what happened too, why I had to finally take down the marina, was that the dirt that was dumped around me started to crack the concrete poles that were in the water holding up the building. Because it was so much weight, and it started to crumble underneath, you know, and started to crack up I mean, we would sometimes even hear one go, you know, like really loud. And then the building would shake a bit, and then we said, all right, and before the entire thing just cracked down on us, we better take it off. So they proceeded then to take it. It was very fast. It took like 3 days, and the entire place was taken down, you know, and the material was put up for us, and because we had a lot of zinc roof, we had a lot of lumber there, we had the whole lumber for the flooring. We had to take out the entire kitchen part, of course, the bar part, and it was our living place as well, right? But seeing that we would have to finally go, we had used some of the money that we by then got, and got some plywood and stuff, and my sons, as usual, started to build 2 little cottages. By that time, it was like November 2001 already. And something told me we have to go to Germany. Because my mother, I got calls and I talked to my mother, and she got more and more, she lost her mind more and more, if you want, because I guess this whole, she didn't have Alzheimer or nothing. She didn't really was senile or anything, but it come like she lost a lot of her functions because of the lack of oxygen she frequently had with her breathing problems, right? And plus, I got a phone call one day from the home where they said, oh, you know, we have to buy your mother cigarettes now because she's all over the place begging cigarettes. And at first I was very upset, and I said, how can she start so when she can barely breathe? And then I said, sure. By that time, the doctor had given her only 3 months to live anymore, and she was over the 3 months already. And I said, well, if she want to smoke, fine, let her be happy with smoking. So I said, of course, buy a cigarette, make sure she feel comfortable. But I got the feeling I have to go to Germany. So I didn't want to go alone, so again I asked Yosha. At that point in time, the construction of our little living quarters was underway already, and I have to really commend Nikki there. He continued while we were gone and did a fabulous job again. See, my sons, they have learned so much over the years of everything. They can do some plumbing, they can do some electricity works, they can build, they can repair, they can, I mean, living in the Marina and having all these challenges at all times, they learn a lot of stuff. So for them, practically both of them, I think, would be able by now to build a house and set it up with everything without really needing people, you know. It might not have be perfect, but it is still, I mean, they are very skilled. So Yosha and me took a plane, went to Germany.
This time she left me, guys.
Yeah, this time I left Melody because I couldn't manage to actually she was just back in school too, and it wouldn't have been good for her to change again, you know. So Nikki and Mayumi were in charge of you. But we weren't supposed to stay long anyhow, you know. I just said we need to go over, we need to see that Omi is okay, that she is alright, and then we come back and get a few things too, and then come back. So we landed and went to Bielefeld and came to the apartment in the evening. So I think the next morning, the first thing we did, we grabbed the tram and went to the hospital where my mother was, because when we landed, we called the home and said, oh, when can we visit my mother? And they said, oh, this is so crazy. We just had to bring her to the hospital this morning because she had some problem with her respiration again and so on. And said, whoa, okay. So then we went, the next morning we went to the hospital, and the first thing we see one doctor and said, whoa, you are here quick. I said, what do you mean we are here quick? Yeah, we told the people in the home they should let you know to come because it looks like your mother is going now. And I was like, what? You know, it was like, this is crazy. So I went in the room where she was lying. She was unconscious, not sleeping, but I think she was unconscious, or they put her under or whatever. Anyhow, there was no way I could speak with her face to face, so we just sat by her bed a little while, and I talked to her and told her some stuff and said that I loved her and stuff like that, and we went home because it didn't make sense to sit there the whole day. In the evening, Yosha and me had some nice dinner, and well, after the dinner we suddenly we looked at each other and both we started to cry, and we cried for Omi, you know, and it was really hard. Sure. Anyhow, we went to sleep again and stuff, and the next morning we went back to the hospital, and by that time my mother was awake, but she was not coherent at all. I mean, she was like looking around and bubbling something, and she saw us but didn't recognize us, and she became suddenly very agitated. And seeing her getting agitated, I said, no, this doesn't make sense, because I knew when she gets agitated, she has another problem with her breathing again. It is very hard. So we decided to leave and come back to her for a later time. We had been there that day, no, once in the afternoon. So next morning, we were just getting ready to go back to the hospital. I get a phone call. And the phone call said, well, your mommy just passed away. Her heart stopped beat. And well, I mean, we had said to the doctor already, because he was saying, oh, if she gets another episode or whatever, what should we do? And I said, please let her go. Because remember the last time I told you when she was in the hospital and she said, why did you bring me back? That had registered with me very, very strongly. And I said, no, it doesn't make sense. She wants to go. She is ready, and she doesn't want this thing anymore.
And her mom and her husband are waiting for her too.
Exactly. So I just decided, no, it's her time. Let her go. Because what happened to while she was still at home, one day she called me and showed me her bedside table, and she had accumulated. She got sleeping pills from her doctor. She would take half every evening, but she had accumulated a good amount of them. And at that point in time, she told me, see, I have them here. When I'm ready, I'm going to take them, and I go. And at first, again, seeing my mommy and her and committing suicide, I was really upset, and I was saying, no, I'm going to take them away. You can't do that. And then again, I said, but she is an adult. She is a big woman. She knows what she's going through. She is suffering. So if she decides she is ready to go, who am I to keep her from it? So I left the sleeping pills. She never took them, obviously. But what happened, I think it made her feel at peace knowing that she had the choice.
Yeah.
So that alone for me was reason enough not to interfere with that. So yeah, mommy passed, and then in Germany things always go very quick, so we had to call a what do you call them again?
Cremation.
Yeah, well, the person who's doing it, the undertaker, an undertaker, and a friend of mine gave me some recommendation there, and we went there and arranged everything for cremation. The next evening, no, was it the same evening or the evening after? I don't quite remember, but Yosha and me again were in the house. We had purchased a computer because we needed a computer for here, and we're sitting there and kind of diddling around with it and trying something. And we have 3 rooms. There's a living room and there's another little bedroom here, and we were in the little bedroom. And in the living room, we always used to play Kniffel, which is Yahtzee, right? We always used to play Yahtzee. So there was this cup with the dice in it on the living room table. And Yosha and me both were sitting in the other room when we suddenly heard something like somebody shaking dice in the cup. And I heard it, but I didn't say anything because I said, this is weird. Did I really hear this? And then suddenly Yosha looked at me and said, did you hear that too? And I said, you mean the cup with the dice? And you said, And we both jumped up and went in the living room. But the cup was standing as usual at the same spot, not moving, nothing. And we both looked at each other and said, whoa, I wonder if that was Omi.
So she always played it with you guys?
Yeah, she loved to play. She loved to play Yahtzee, and especially cards. She used to play Rummy and Canasta and this and that. So, I mean, she would be into it. But wasn't that weird? I mean, both of us heard the same thing, and we didn't both trust it. And when we looked at each other, found out that the other person heard it as well. So we were like, "Whoa, I guess that's Omi." And I said, "Hi, are you around or something?" It was interesting. And then in the night, I was sleeping in her ex-bedroom, and when suddenly I woke up because something was pulling my toe, like literally, and I was like, what is this, and then I got the idea, is that you again? I said, this is weird. This feels spooky, so I kind of I always sleep with my feet outside. I have to say.
She always has the feet like here. And
I can't have feet under a blanket. Even in deep winter, sometime in the cold, we still have my feet outside. So, drop asleep again when it happened again. And I was, well, that is definitely Omi, So, but I said, okay, you want to tell me something? You want to show me something? What is it? You want to say goodbye? Or what is it? I mean, I don't understand, So basically that night I had peace and quiet after that. And then, the cremation would be taking place about 2-3 days later. Now what I had decided, I wanted to bring her ashes to Jamaica. Not because, basically, in Germany she would get buried, right? And we wouldn't be around. Nobody would be around. Why? Basically, I said, I want to take my mommy home, And then we called the German, I don't even know who we had to call. I think something like the parish council or whatever. And I let them know that I would want to take my mother home. And they said, oh, that is difficult. You can't really do that. And then you would have to get permission from the Jamaican government to bring her in. And I said, okay. I called the Jamaican embassy in Berlin. I explained the situation to them, and they said, yeah, okay. Of course you can take her. They were like, huh? Why should that be a problem? But I needed it in writing, so they gave me that in writing, and I showed whoever needed to see the letter, and then they said, yeah. And I said, I'm soon flying out, so I'm going to take her with me. And they said, no. You cannot take her with you. I said, why? No, that is not allowed. You can't. No. You have to send her by post. There was like, okay, I cannot carry my mommy in my luggage on a flight to Jamaica, but I have to send it by mail. Alrighty then. So we packed the urn in a package and sent it to us in Jamaica. And now the funny part is, in Jamaica, every package that reaches the island will be opened by customs. Every package. Now, through the Marina times, I had a lot to do with customs, of course, because they had to come for the boats every time one came in and out. And so once I reached back in Jamaica, I called them and said, okay guys, there will be a package in my name from Germany, and there's an urn in it, and please do not open the urn. Those are really the ashes of my mommy. It's really her, so please don't think that I'm trying to smuggle drugs or do anything. Just respect that. And the interesting part was, when that package finally reached, they called me and said, it's here, and I went, they didn't even bother open the package. They were so afraid of Duppy that they did not even open the package. So that is how I got my mommy back to Germany, to Jamaica, sorry. And guess what? You say.
We still have her here.
We still have her. She is on a shelf in the living room.
Should I bring her to say hi?
Oh no. I But she is still on the shelf in our living room, kind of being with the family from ever since. And actually, we have decided as a family to start a tradition. I mean, as soon as one of my children, I didn't get to it yet in my lifetime yet, but if them get a piece of land here, we would start, because all of them want to be cremated basically. We would start a thing like with like my mommy and then me and then whoever else come after, have a little family urn place built on our own piece of land there. I think that's a pretty good idea, because I was going to throw out her ashes
in the sea.
In the sea. I mean, go out on a boat and see, because you see, I wanted her to be free, you know, to seeing that she couldn't breathe and was so distraught by it the whole time, and I wanted just for her to feel free again, you know, even in her little left material state. Yeah, I mean, we know the soul is somewhere else, but even that should be free. And believe you me, I couldn't do it. I couldn't part from her. I said, no, mommy, you have to stay with me. So up to this day, she stayed with me, and I mean, we are talking now, what, 21 years? So, oh, let me please mention one more thing. When my mother died, as I told you, I'm an only child. I suddenly realized that I would have had a lot of questions still concerning her life or our life together when I was small or other things. And I realized as well, hey, now you are the oldest in the family. You know, I'm the one and the only one basically who would even remember how I was as a child. There was nobody anymore in my life who would remember. You see, if you have siblings, you can talk about your childhood and stuff. I didn't have anybody anymore. And for me, that was a real shock suddenly. You know, I said, wow, now it's me, I'm the oldest, I'm the only one. I am, if you want, the matriarch of the family now. But there is nobody in this world who knows anything about me when I was small. And that made me feel lost suddenly, you know. I mean, I accepted the fact that my mother was ready to die, so I did not really grieve as of such for that. But I grieved even in the end about suddenly really being alone, having nobody above me
Basically,
anymore, older than me or beside me, because no siblings, barely any family. And that made me really feel lost. So I would love to appeal to all of you who have parents, grandparents, whatever questions you might have about their lives, your life with them, whatever, please talk with them. Please keep the contact. Make sure that whatever information you need from them, you can attain before they pass. Because when they're gone, and their stories are gone if you do not know them, you know. So I think it is very important to keep contact. That was actually the reason why I decided to even do this, telling my story. It wasn't even meant to be for the public. I wanted my children, when I'm gone, to know certain things, to understand maybe certain things, why I acted certain ways or why I was certain ways. So at least, even in hindsight, me being gone, they could at least have some information that might help them even later in life too. So actually, I'm going to do my childhood and my youth before I came to Jamaica as well. Basically for my children. I don't know if there's any interest for you there. But I think it is very important. And nowadays we have these technical possibilities. So it's wonderful to leave a little legacy like that. So please, whoever has parents or grandparents, try to get as much information from them as possible, because you will appreciate it later. for sure. So the next chapter would be basically what happened after they have pulled down the Marina part, and after Yasha and me came back to Germany.
To Jamaica.
Why I always say Germany? To Jamaica. I'm in Germany. So that was it for today, and thanks for tuning in again. And
yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all know I'm a crybaby. I can't see anyone crying and don't start crying too. So yeah, I appreciate y'all supporting us as usual. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you in our next story time. Bye.